Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I'm proud to represent one of the most diverse communities in Australia, and I acknowledge the member for Fowler, who probably represents a community that's a little bit more diverse than mine, but I can tell you what, I'm very proud to represent a very diverse community in Bennelong, where we have 66% of those who live in Bennelong have one or both parents born overseas. Over 50% of my community, Deputy Speaker, speak a language other than English at home. And that diversity makes our community stronger, and migration and immigration into this country makes our community stronger. Each and every month I have the pleasure of going to a citizenship at one of the 3 local councils in my area. It's something I've been doing for nearly a decade now in my role as a councillor and the mayor, and it's one of my favourite things to do as an elected official, to share that special day with locals who have been in the community for a little while, come from overseas and make that really hard decision to move to Australia, leave their homeland, just like my parents did back in the 60s and 80s, to make that really hard decision to uproot their family, move to Australia because it's a land of promise and hope, and to celebrate that day with them is something that I really relish. And I'm so glad that this government has fixed up the mess that was left behind by the former government in immigration, processing and visa times. And citizenship is exactly an area in which this government has made many inroads. In the last 12 months alone, the backlog of citizenship has been reduced by 30%, with the number of applications now sitting at below 93,000 for the first time in 6 years. That is quite the achievement. In the past 12 months alone, over 173,000 people have received Australian citizenship through conferral, and that's an 18% increase on the year before. Average processing times have also undergone a substantial reduction of 40%, with more than 90% of applicants only waiting 6 months to attend a ceremony. And I have witnessed this feedback firsthand. I remember not that long ago, particularly when we had to do citizenship ceremonies during the pandemic, and we had to do some of these processes online. I remember asking people, "Oh, how long has the process been? Has it been difficult?" And they'd say, "Look, we've been waiting 2-3 years for our citizenship. It's been a difficult process." I had feedback at my citizenship ceremony in Ryde only a few weeks ago, where someone received their application processed and became Australian citizens within 6 months. That is something that is a direct consequence of a Labor government, because we value immigration, we value citizenship, and we value a pathway to permanent residency and citizenship, which those opposite just did not. When we came to government, over 1 million visas were left unprocessed. When we came to government, that was the case. So we had a previous government that told people to go home, to leave this country rather than help them to stay here. They said leave, and they had no plan for reopening the borders. We had to employ 684 new staff to support the visa system to get through this backlog, because we understand on this side of the House the importance of migration to our social fabric, but the importance of migration to our economy. The Liberal legacy was dire. They undermined Australia's visa system. They prioritised temporary immigration over permanent residency and citizenship, and they told people to go home during the pandemic and had no plan for when the border opened. And in the last few months, Deputy Speaker, we've seen these attacks on immigrants and on migrants go even further. We've had questions in question time. We've had MPIs blaming new citizens and migrants and those who choose to make Australia home for the failures of the past 10 years of their government. They're blaming migration for traffic jams in Sydney. They're blaming migration for the housing crisis that they left us with. And shame on them for doing that. We will never do that on this side of the House, because we know that a secure and transparent and efficient migration system makes this country strong. It was what our country was built on, it's what our economy was built on, and it's something that I'm very proud to be here as a son of parents who made that decision to move from overseas, come to Australia. They were welcomed with open arms, and never should that change. Never should migrants be blamed for 10 years of inaction on infrastructure delivery from the former government. We are tackling some of these issues that they raise, but we will not be blaming migration for it. So I'd ask the Minister to update the House on what improvements have been made to the visa processing systems.
Authorised by Jerome Laxale, ALP 32 Beecroft Road, Epping, New South Wales 2121.